Gospel of the Lord. You may be seated. Dear brothers and sisters, we are finishing our first week of Lent, as we started last Wednesday with Ash Wednesday. And as you all know, Lent is a very special and sacred time. A time for the purification of our heart, a time of renewal. And thank God in this country, in our Catholic Church, and even further than our Catholic Church, there's a huge devotion to this time of renewal, of repentance, of going back to what is good. And a very fitting psalm for that is the psalm we heard today, the very famous Psalm 51. And it says some things that I think it's important that we bring to our hearts. Especially, I'm going to underline this part here. For you are not pleased with sacrifice. Should I offer a burnt offering, you would not accept it. My sacrifice, O God, is a contrite spirit. A heart contrite and humble, O God, you will not spurn. This part is obviously after the psalmist, King David, had already said before, have mercy on me, O God, in your goodness and in your greatness. Have compassion, wipe out my offense, thoroughly wash my guilt, and of my sin cleanse me. So it is very interesting because many times when we look at repentance, when we think of this renewal, sometimes immediately it comes like a load onto our hearts and onto our shoulders. Okay, this is what I have to do. And this is the list of things. I've got to sacrifice on this. I've got to work harder here. And I've got to do this and this and this and this. And all of that might be good. But what the psalmist wants to teach us is much more important than that. Is my sacrifice, O God, is a contrite spirit, a heart contrite and humbled, O God, you will not spurn. So important, dear brothers and sisters, as we are introduced into this time of renewal, of repentance, the virtue of humility that goes directly against what distances us from God, which is the vice of pride. And so many times pride is one of those sins that it's difficult to catch because it's got like a self-protecting mechanism when pride doesn't allow you to see that you're prideful. So it's got this mechanism. A lot of people who suffer from pride, they don't realize they're prideful. And they, no, I'm really humble. I recognize that I never sin. You're like, okay, there you go again. You know, no, I didn't do that wrong. No. It wasn't my intention. I had a good intention. Yeah, of course I did that wrong, but I didn't want to do it. Pride again. And we defend ourselves, and we don't go into that place, that sacrifice, that dying, that difficulty of having a contrite and humble heart. A heart like Jesus. A heart like Jesus. He describes his heart as a meek and humble heart. And he's telling us, learn from me. Learn to be humble. So all the other things are great. Sacrificing here, being generous, praying extra time, fasting, all of that is great. It's no problem. But if it doesn't have this, it really lacks its own heart. It is so important that when we come to God, we come with a humble heart, a contrite heart, a heart recognizing you, O Lord, are great. And this, by the way, I just want to make sure you don't go down the everything I do is wrong. No, that's not what we're saying. Jesus didn't do that. He didn't say, oh, I'm humble, therefore I'm the worst human being on planet Earth. I do everything wrong and I'm horrible, blah, blah, blah. No. That's not humility. That's another lie. That's another form of pride. Humility is sometimes quite difficult because it's also recognizing I did this good job. Maybe at the end of the day, one of the keys to achieve this, which we see so clearly in Jesus, is listening. Listening to others. It's funny, those who think that they have very little fault, everybody else around them recognizes like how prideful they are. Wouldn't it be great if that person just listens to the others and asks, hey, what do you think I can improve? Have you ever asked your spouse, your friends, the people who are close to you, that uncomfortable question? Listening is a great thing to grow in humility. Let us ask our Blessed Mother, who is all humble, just such a beautiful heart, such a great person. Let us ask her to help us grow in this humility, that we might be like her Son.